Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khevarizmi Dicakayana. I am from SMA N5 Tambun Selatan, and today I will going to state an motion. This House prefer the strategy of pushing for institutional reform to address police abuse and misconduct rather than defunding the police. Okay, before we start, we have to know the definition of institutional reform. So what is institutional reform? Institutional reform is the process of reviewing and restructuring state institutions to ensure that they have human rights and they preserve the rule of the law and also accommodated to their constitution. It also involves to multiple strategies that addresses to interventions at various levels, including institutional, legislative, civil society, community, and also individual aspect. And now we move to the next aspect, and that is why is the police institutional reform needed? The reason is police institutional reform is a movement to change the current state of the police department for the better by adding certain or current policy or changing the current policy into a better or deleting a certain policy that will be considered as a bad enforcement. And because based on the data books, kata data, Indonesian police violate on these three aspects. The first aspect is discipline, and then ethic code, and then criminal activities. They have skyrocketed on 2020 in around 3,000 cases of violence, of disciplines, and 2,000 cases on the ethic codes, and 1,000 on the criminal activities. These violence greatly affected the police images in society and caused the community distrust on the department. These causes are the factors of the police enforcement and the community demands of a defund. Police reinforcement can be caused by many factors, but I will going to tell you three of the main factors, and one of it is structural problems. The structural problems can be different on many aspects, such as the community distrust and satisfaction, abuse of power, extortion, nepotism, bribery, and graft, and many more of the aspects. And the second one, the most main one, is the public pressure and activities protests, which can be lead to on the public pressure on for the services that the police has given is not living up to the public satisfaction. And the next aspect is cultural shift in the police department. Basically, it's the change of the culture in the police department that can affect the society and also the police department itself. And the next is why institutional reform can be more beneficial than defunding the police department. These are the reasons why, because we all know, because many of the cases regarding the police department that the police has been causing, it is no wonder that the community or the society or the citizens wanted a demand justice to the government by many ways, such as like defunding for the police, because they thought it was a good idea. Although I say for myself that although it's a good, sounds like a good idea, but we still have to remember police is one of the crucial organizations to maintain the law and order for the communities and the society, and also the safety for the public, which is why a well-functioning police forces is essential for maintaining public safety. That is one of their prime priorities, and also reforms ensures the officer receive proper training to internal standards and serve the communities effectively. So rather than dismantling the entire system, it can also improving or focuses on improving the existence of the structure for the police department. There are examples of the cases that has been happening around Indonesia, and one of it is the case of the premeditated murder of the Brigadier Joshua by the General Fendi Sambo, and then we have also the driving license corruption by Joko Susilo that inflicted financial loss of 22 billions. Now we're going to moving on to the arguments. I have four aspects, and the first aspect is the general aspect. The general aspect is that more of the generalized than the many of the aspect that I'm going to give it to you. One of the aspects that I suggested is that we should have a civilian complaint review boards. Why is that it's needed? Because most on large cities, just like Jakarta or Bekasi, such complaint review boards is important, which are responsible for adjusting citizens' complaints against a specific officer. Complaints may be involve forces or verbal abuse, corruption, or any other misbehavior that the certain officer have just committed to the crime. This means that the board can be useful. This board can be useful for the police chief or the higher-ups to monitor the behavior of each police officer so that they can either punish or give rewards to the certain police that gains beneficial. And the next is body cams. Body cams can also enhance the officer accountability and prevent abuses in the first place. This can be also the former but not a latter, according to in the George Floyd cases. This record is mixed as to whatever or deter the misconduct. They can clearly offer greater transparency, contributing evidence, and enhanced accountability, which is making the police work much more easier. And the next is early intervention system. In the defining of the police officer with history of misconduct and correcting their behaviors. Rules, violation, and citizens' complaints are recorded in the database and remedial measures. And then next, in the police diversity, in the law enforcement also conducts a variety skills of duties and life experience, which is a goal to make sure all the police forces have the same and represent all the same for the community, is to serve the citizens. And the next, we have the society. We have the defunding the society aspect. We have the defunding can lead to increasing criminal activities caused by the absence of the law. And also, we have, by creating police institutional reform, can help the police more on the before they thought more to the by giving them services based on the public expectations. And the next, we have the economy. Although the prices of the reformation it's expensive, but it's have a lot of beneficial. The next is the solutions. For the solutions, we have the providing effective training and also the community engagement, equality for the accountability, and new mechanisms such as the review boards, body cam, and also enchanted the merit systems. And that is from my stated argument about the motions. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.